On this week's GTA 5 o'clock, milking cows and demolition derbies, hide and seek GTA style, and buy and sell cars in the community garage. We go through all your suggestions of how to improve GTA Online in this week's GTA 5 o'clock. Hello and welcome to this week's GTA 5 o'clock. I'm your host James Jarvis and I am joined by co-host Ian Wilson, Mr. Trophy.
Hello.
Hello, Ian. So, last week's episode went down quite well.
Yep, excellent.
Got some good responses in the comments and on Twitter and Facebook, so thank you all for that. A lot of love for horse hijacking and farming DLC, which I think was something that you came up with off the cuff.
Yes,
Let's just have some farming DLC.
Why not, eh?
That's, something people got very on board with that. We've got a bit more information on what people want from the farming DLC a bit later on.
Excellent.
So this week we're going to go through your comments and talk about what you as the community think Rockstar can do to improve GTA and GTA Online as a whole. So these are from you. These are all your comments. These aren't anything to do with us, but we will read them out and then we will probably dissect them a little bit and say what we think about each one. If you don't get mentioned, then sorry that you don't get mentioned. There were loads of comments and stuff. We've had to pick certain ones and leave certain ones out.
Yeah.
Mainly the negative ones left out. But
there weren't many of those comparatively, though, were
comparatively,
there?
no.
It was good.
No,
it was a
quite
good week.
Lots of you saying you just want some single-player DLC. Obviously, that's a thing that everyone wants. We know, we get it. We want it as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But we're not going to go too much into that because we have, that's something that's happening. We just don't know when.
Yeah.
So let's leave that. And also, before we move on, yes, there were some secret boobs in last week's episode.
That's probably my bad for hanging around the Playboy Mansion too long.
Yeah,
getting some footage for that. So.
Let's not tell anyone about that.
No,
so keep that quiet to yourselves. So there we go. So someone said in the comments that they can't wait to try all the new things that we were talking about.
Right.
It should point out that they were just ideas.
Yes, suggestions, ideas, not confirmed
facts.
Upcoming things.
No, I mean, we'd love them to be.
Oh, yeah.
And, if Rockstar are listening, those are some brilliant ideas.
Yeah, should definitely go ahead with that.
Implement them. We should have put in quad tennis.
Quad tennis,
That's been a long-running thing.
Pretty much from day one of the show, isn't it?
Yeah. So here are your suggestions then for how you think you can improve GTA Online. We're going to read them out, then talk about them. We'll go through one each. I will start with Android Zombie's suggestion, saying they need to add Las Venturas and San Fierro.
Wow. Okay, that's a big one. For those that aren't, I'm sure everyone listening is going to be familiar with that, but basically Los Santos, Las Venturas, San Fierro were the three areas in the original GTA San Andreas. So basically they're suggesting two more cities or areas comparable in size to the GTA 5 existing map.
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Because if they add it in, they can't just add it in as a tiny village.
Yeah, exactly.
So even if they do put it in, it's going to have to be massive, because if it isn't massive, everyone's going to be sad about it not being massive.
Yeah, and the version of San Andreas that's in GTA 5 is a massive island as well, with a lot of space around it. So where do you get that? I mean, I suppose you could add it onto the side somewhere and fly to it. There are bits in the single player where you hop in a plane and fly off
North Yankton
somewhere, exactly. But it's not a continuous transition. You basically walk to a different area entirely. So I'm not sure how that would work in the game world. And also just the fact that it took however many years to meticulously craft San Andreas with all its sort of great details and little features and things that we come to expect from Rockstar games.
Yeah,
it's not the sort of thing they can just bash out in a week or a month or however long.
And I don't even really think it needs it in GTA 5. If they open a casino, surely that's all the Las Venturas stuff that you want.
Yeah,
it's got gambling. Maybe they can add another strip club in if you want to go for the seedy back alleys of Las Venturas.
I suppose,
and all that.
I suppose the kind of the north of the map's got a bit of the San Fierro feel to it with the
So, I mean, the thing that's really missing is Area 69.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Where's that? Because that's when the jetpack is.
Yeah.
So we put that in. Everyone's happy.
There's loads of desert. Maybe it'll turn up in there somewhere.
Possibly. All right.
Cool. Right. So the next suggestion is from Death Seekerism. And they say a mission creator integrated into the already existing content creator, kind of like what you guys said with the heist creator thing, but with custom missions the community can create and publish.
Yeah, so we pretty much covered this last week.
Yeah.
This is going to be like an addition to the content creator that we've already got. We wanted it to be heist, so you could string a load of different missions together. This is sort of the beginnings of that, so you give people a mission creator and say, hey, look, now you can create your own missions. Yes, obviously you're not going to be able to reward people with money or XP because it's really highly exploitable, but maybe you can use it as like a training thing or just something to go and have fun with.
Yeah.
So, good idea. Zapman900 is next, who says, lower the prices. Why the hell, I've changed his wording.
That's good.
Does it cost $3,000 for a t-shirt?
Good point to an extent that a lot of the clothing items are very highly priced, like compared to real life prices, I guess.
Well, yeah, like real life actual prices.
Yeah,
like
exactly.
$20.
Yeah. But whereas things like cars, say, are maybe a bit more in tune with real life prices, like $500,000 for a sports car, a high-end sports car or something like that. I mean, I guess the issue is if all the clothes were like $20 or $50 or something, you would be able to buy everything in the shops in quite a short period of time.
Yeah.
And there would be no sort of room for expansion of actually like there'd be no reason to like pick and choose what your character wears.
Yeah, I guess none of it would feel exclusive in
No.
a way. Like you just be like, I've got all the stuff.
Everyone's got everything.
Yeah, which
so.
there's got upsides and bad sides. Like, oh, I've got everything. I've got a range of stuff. I can look however I want. But at the same time, everyone can do that.
Exactly.
And,
yeah.
You want to be wandering around with the $4,000 suit on, as opposed to someone who's got like a $20,000 suit, and you're like, oh, I really want your suit. It's cool, and you're like, well, go and do some more jobs then.
Exactly.
So yeah, I can see your point, Zapman, but
yeah.
I mean, they are quite expensive. But
yeah, but then at the same time, there are still $20 t-shirts or...
Yeah, get down a thrift shop.
Yeah, exactly.
It'll be all right.
Yeah. Right, the next one is from Willziz, who says, add the ability to travel to a farm in Blaine County and milk the cows and then sell the milk for dollars.
Brilliant. Farming DLC is coming back.
Farming DLC.
So this is taking your idea and running with it.
Yeah, I suppose we can also tie that into Sinky, who has commented saying, or harvest the grapes of the vineyards for money. Farming DLC would be nice.
Yeah, this seems to be the standout
It's a recurring theme that's come up.
I mean, I guess the north of the map, there are there are some farms up there and you can't do anything with them.
It's a thing that could happen. I guess it would be like a pastime or something you could do within the game.
And expanding on that idea, what if you get said vineyard, then you make your own wine, then you can then sell that wine from a shop that you bought in the city.
Right.
You can sell the wine to other players who can then have it in their apartment. And because it's nicer wine or rubbish wine, has an effect on how drunk or how happy you get or something.
Okay.
So you become just like, you just have a job. This is back to the jobs thing. Then
jobs,
you have a job as a wine seller.
Yeah.
And your job is to go and do the wine, make the wine, sell the wine, and then you get money.
Yeah, you could have a grape stomping mini game. Imagine that.
Yes, exactly. Just standing there for hours pressing
left, right,
like
left,
a rhythm action game. That's
Yeah.
what you want.
Exactly, yeah.
Good idea.
Interesting.
Okay. Taikwa. I think it's going to be Taikwa. Maybe. Taikwa Robinson says more fighting moves. That's it.
Okay.
Done.
Quick and to the point.
In. Okay.
Yeah.
I guess there's only really punch and kick when on the floor.
Yeah, pretty much. You got punch and kick. You've got the little kind of, you do the dodge and attack straight afterwards. You can do like a little counter 1-2 punch thing.
So yeah,
there's not a huge range of fighting stuff, but then it's quite a nice simplified system that complements GTA's control scheme anyway.
Yeah.
If you had lots of different punches and kicks and crazy moves and so on, and don't forget you've got all the different melee weapons as well in there. That might overcomplicate things a bit. Whether it's maybe something like more fight animations potentially, but then there is a lot of that already and a lot of sort of context sensitive stuff as well. So yeah, there's plenty of. I would say there's plenty of fighting stuff already in there.
All right.
I think if you tried to if you try to expand it much more, things might get a little bit complicated, is what I'm saying.
Fine. Okay, then. Well, let's move on then.
Frankie Mihalovic says, get rid of racing for demolition derbies, as they end up that way anyhow, because there's no reason other than a good sportsmanship not to ram and pit maneuver opponents.
So he basically just wants demolition derbies instead of races, I think is what he's saying.
Yes, so that makes sense.
I mean, that could be an option.
Yeah.
Of like a demolition derby in one of the arenas would be quite nice. I think the reason that they introduced like the ghost cars in races is specifically for that reason.
Definitely, yeah. You've got the option to turn contact off now for those things,
because people did used to ram each other.
Exactly, yeah. And as Frankie says, there's no real incentive when you're doing a race not to ram people. So yeah, that's a way of doing it. I mean,
so if you're annoyed, Frankie, turn on the off the collision stuff in the races.
If you don't want contact, but then if you do want actual demolition derby races, that's quite an interesting idea. I mean, and they did in the current gen updated version add in the sort of stock car type racing.
Yeah, they did. Yeah.
But then again, that is still a point-to-point race, and obviously that does have contact, but it's not specifically maybe a Destruction Derby race as you might understand if you played the Destruction Derby games back in the PlayStation 1 days. I guess there's quite detailed damage modelling in the game, as we've seen, so maybe there must be kind of stuff behind the scenes that's actually sort of recording how much damage a car has got and what condition it's in. So potentially, if you actually wanted an all-out destroy the other cars type race, that's something that has got potential to happen. Good idea,
Frankie.
So, yeah,
we'll go for that. Rascal 512479, which is a lot of numbers there for reasons that only Rascal can understand.
Exactly,
why he's got so many numbers
all those
on there.
512,478 rascals beforehand.
Yeah, it's taken all the other names. He says, or they say, that they need to add more reasons to visit the north of the map. I know the city like the back of my hand. There's no reason to visit the North Country area except in a mission.
To be fair, they do raise a bit of a valid point there, that obviously a lot of the online experience is centered within the city. Pretty much all the shops and things are there. A lot of the missions begin in those populated areas. I guess logically, because that's where there's stuff going on.
Yeah.
But they are right that there isn't much reason to go to the north end of the map, and I say personally, I find, apart from maybe going up to the Trevor's airstrip to grab a vehicle or something, there's not really a lot of reason to head up there.
You know what would make you head up there? If there was farms up
Farming DLC.
Put some cows and some vineyards up there.
Yeah.
People are going back and forth all the time.
Exactly. But I guess even just some more Rockstar created or Rockstar verified missions based around that.
Yeah.
I guess maybe that's something the community could be taken on board, generating some more missions.
It's hard, isn't it? Because you want to have it all exciting and in the city, and then if you take it out, less people are going to play it, and then
exactly,
they're like, oh, I don't want to go all the way up there to go do that thing. So yeah, it's difficult.
But if you make it good, they will come.
That's true.
As I think they said in that film once. Right, Jim Pickens says an Apache attack helicopter with a gun that fires lasers and knives.
Wow.
And knives and lasers, laser knives.
Wow. Okay. Well, Jim Pickens seems to have lost his mind. Let's ignore the laser knives. And
can you ignore them?
Well, not if they're coming at your face. No, that's difficult.
No.
But
Apache attack helicopter. Yeah, I mean, it's something that I think was in San Andreas. I think there was a helicopter, pretty hefty one that you could get. Certainly in GTA 4, there was an Apache style helicopter that you could unlock and fly around in and cause all sorts of havoc with. So
I'm sure it's something Rockstar have looked at.
Yeah,
it's just a balancing thing again.
Yeah, I mean, I guess the issue is if you have something like that unleashed in the online world, potentially it could be overpowered, and you've just got somebody cruising around, raining fire and missiles and laser knives down from the sky, and ruining everyone else's online experience. But then you've got tanks online, which are pretty hefty.
Yeah, so maybe the laser knives destroys tanks.
Maybe.
Okay. Well, yeah, that's a suggestion. Of course, with all of these things, let us know what you think about these suggestions in the comments. We're merely reading them out. We are not endorsing.
No, we're a conduit for ideas.
Yeah, we're endorsing some of them.
Yeah, well, exactly.
So yeah, get in touch on Twitter at GTA Video Clock or on Facebook at facebook.com/GTA Video Clock. James Smith is up next, who says, I'd like to see a multiplayer mode similar to that in Assassin's Creed, where one team tries to blend in with the AI and environment while the other team is told roughly where they are and have to eliminate them.
That is an interesting idea.
That is a good idea.
I like the sound of that. I did enjoy the Assassin's Creed online modes that had that sort of thing in it, where you basically had to walk around and mimic the actions of the other NPCs and try and remain hidden as long as possible.
And if you're in a crew, I guess you could, do bigger actions together. Like you could have 3 or 4 people crossing the street at the same time, so it didn't look like just one person.
Yeah,
and you could
or
make
kind
it
of
all...
stood chatting away like you see NPCs on the street corners chatting away and stuff. So.
Yeah, that's the really good idea. I like that. Some kind of like manhunt mission, a bit like when we used to do a bounty hunter in the old GTA Video Clock live streams.
Exactly.
You'd have one guy, and then the rest of the people had to go and.
Yeah.
I guess.
Yeah. Or what was the other one? Wesley Snipes.
Wesley Snipes. Yeah, that was good.
So yeah, I mean, I guess it wouldn't be too much of a stretch to maybe extend that. In the single player campaign, you got Lester's assassination missions where you're sent to pick out a certain target in an area. It wouldn't be too much of a stretch to maybe bring assassinations to online, and if you had that as a game mode where you'd get an image on screen of your target's sort of online character avatar, and then you had to hunt them down in that area, and they had a certain amount of time to avoid you.
Yeah, I guess it's like an extension of what they do with the bounties at the moment when you put a bounty on someone.
Yeah.
But instead of like putting a giant red dot on the radar, maybe it just sends everyone a picture of their face.
Yeah, and like a circular blip of an area.
Yeah, and that person can't leave that area.
Yeah,
and it's
or that. Yeah, so yeah.
Because you don't want them just running off to their apartment like everyone does at the moment.
Exactly.
Good idea.
Good. So next up, Pinpoint 45 says earbuds for radio on foot.
Yep. Agree.
Yeah.
Some kind of MP3 player or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, just so you can sort of press a button and bring up the same radio wheel that you would have in a vehicle and listen to your tunes when you're walking around.
Yeah. I think the only reason that isn't in there is because of the dynamic score that GTA 5 has. So when you're walking around, different things, music kicks in at different times. Whether there is a way to blend that together or you just turn it on and off. Like everyone's played enough of the game now to have experienced the dynamic score, and then maybe you can choose whether you want to have it on or off. Well, you can. It's a Walkman. Yeah. Earbuds in, earbuds off.
Exactly.
You can decide.
Exactly.
But yeah, good idea. Zapman 900 is back. They should add rent, which is something that we covered last week. The price is determined by how long you are in your apartment, so people with bounties can't just stay there. Now that bit of it I like.
Yeah.
You have to pay like a cleaner.
I was about to say there's like a service charge, isn't there, that pops up. I think it might only be like once a week, in-game week or something. You have to pay your mechanic and your service charge for your apartment to keep it going.
But having something so you pay more money because you've spent more time in there is like a reasonably good idea. I guess the problem is that would then discourage people from being in their apartment.
I totally see the point of maybe it'd be like a charge if you had a bounty on your head or something, so you're actually actively hiding.
Yeah.
That then clocks up a charge, because you say otherwise if it was just at any point you're in your apartment, it'd kind of feel like a punishment for using your own property.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you can't be in your own house.
No, exactly. So I certainly wouldn't be hanging around in mine if I was paying for it all the time. But,
can see the point of that, but could be difficult.
Right, and the final comment we have is from Kepler, who says the ability to spray your gang's logo on walls, as in the gang turf thing.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
It is good. So yeah, be a way of marking your territory or your area, or at least kind of spreading your crew identity around the city. So even potentially if it's not tied into any specific gang wars or gang turf thing, just being able to like graffiti your tag on the wall and put your crew's name out there. It's quite an interesting idea. Maybe if you got spotted by security or the police while you were doing it, you get a wanted level and get chased after as well.
Yeah, because you know you can put it is naughty. That's true. You can put your logo on cars and on T-shirts and things.
Yeah.
So this is just an extension of that.
Exactly. Yeah.
Tagging up around. I guess the thing is you'd have to be like the servers would change. So if we're thinking about it on a bigger scale, it's more difficult to do that and make you come back to the same area where you've got your tags because yours going to log into different servers. But let's bypass the technicalities we did last week. And I think finally he says, which is my favourite one, maybe my favourite suggestion of all of the suggestions.
Go for it.
The ability to sell cars, like in an online community market selling type thing, so you can buy other people's cars and have their like advanced customized options and car parts in it. So basically it's like a used car dealership.
Yeah.
Where you can make your own car.
You can do sort of a pimp my ride makeover on a thing, and then once you've got it all looking nice, put it up for sort of auction or
people
for
can
sale
then go and bid on your car and buy it. Because I'm pretty rubbish at styling out a car.
Yeah.
I can give it all the cool brakes and speed and boosts and things, but when it comes to like colouring it in like a child, and it comes to
I remember your car. It was a bit.
When it comes to giving it them paint jobs and things, I just like I don't know. So if someone's
never lost your car. Let's put it that way. It was quite
it's
quite
good.
obvious.
It's a good one. Big pink one.
But yeah, no, that'd be nice. Maybe there was some sort of like virtual test drive thing that you could get in the car and drive it around an area and see how it handles and what sort of speed it does as well. That would be obviously useful if you were planning on buying it. So
I think that's a good idea, having pre-made custom cars by people in the community, which you can then go and buy for maybe. Well, I guess some of them are going to cost more than the base level because they would have had souped up and stuff. But maybe you can set your own price.
I guess. Kind of because it's again, I suppose Rockstar would be wary in any sort of situation in the game where you were setting your own price for something, that there's always a potential for either like pricing it really high and somebody coming in and giving you lots of money that you shouldn't have, or pricing it too low and people getting stuff they shouldn't have. So it's always a bit of a tricky balancing act for that.
But I like the idea.
But the idea in principles, I
like the concept.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's it for your community suggestions of how to improve GTA Online. If you've got any more, put them in the comments below, or get in touch on Twitter at GTAVOclock, or on Facebook at facebook.com/GTAVOclock. Thanks for listening. Next week it is Gamescom, so I'm going to be off in Germany. You're going to still be here, but it's probably going to be quite difficult to make a show. So yeah, we're probably going to have a week off, but if you tune into our new home on GamesRadar, we're going to have loads of reactions and big game previews and news and hands-on reports from the show floor with me and a lot of the other GamesRadar people. So hit the link in the description if you want all of that. If not, we'll be back here on this channel in 2 weeks' time. So we will see you there at 5 p.m.